So it's no surprise when you buy a new electronic device brand new, you may run into problems. Heck, you may even run into problems if you buy a brand new electronic 3 to 4 years prior to it being released. Whether that's a smartphone, a PC, a gaming device, whatever the case may be, if you buy an electronic, whether it's brand new out the box on day one, or if you buy brand new in the box a couple of years after it's already been manufactured, you're guaranteed to run into problems. And the Nintendo Switch is no different. There's been a number of hosts of problems when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, to where the LCD wouldn't even work for some people. The LCD was flickering. Some people couldn't turn on their Nintendo Switches at launch. And then, of course, the whole problem with the screen scratching when you put your Switch into the dock. And then, of course, there's been some cases where some people's Nintendo Switches have been bending. You also have to realize, when it comes to electronics, these companies are mass producing these products in millions and millions and millions of units. So it's not really surprising that a lot of electronics are going to have these types of problems. And it looks like there's another Nintendo Switch problem occurring right now. It looks like when people are actually playing their Nintendo Switches, they can see on the casing around the Nintendo Switch, it looks like they're getting these hairline cracks, and a lot of people are complaining about these hairline cracks. Now, is this really an issue you should be worried about? Should you actually be worried about having all these hairline cracks in your Nintendo Switch? The good news is, it looks like it's not a massive amount of people who are having this hairline cracking problem on their Nintendo Switch. And also the good news is, if you do have this problem where it looks like you're starting to see hairline cracks on your Nintendo Switch, it looks like it's not actually affecting the performance of your Nintendo Switch. It looks like everybody who's had these hairline cracks on the Nintendo Switch, due to the actual system actually causing these cracks, are not actually unable to play their Switch. They can actually still play their Nintendo Switches. And a lot of people who are having these hairline cracks are saying these hairline cracks are not from them actually dropping the system. A lot of these people are saying they baby their Nintendo Switch. They honestly really take care of their Nintendo Switch, and they're actually getting hairline cracks. Now, I even seen this one on the internet where it looks like the vent on the top was actually peeling off. Do I necessarily believe that an air vent on the top of the Nintendo Switch was actually peeling off, and it actually wasn't from damage that they caused themselves by dropping the Nintendo Switch or hitting it up against something? I kind of find it hard to believe that the Nintendo Switch would actually be malfunctioning that bad to where it's actually peeling the top of the air vent off the top of the Nintendo Switch. But hey, I could be wrong about that, and it could actually be because of the Nintendo Switch. Do I believe that these hairline cracks are actually caused by the Nintendo Switch? 100% yes. I do think the Nintendo Switch can cause these hairline cracks, because if you don't know anything about the processor inside the Nintendo Switch, the processor inside the Nintendo Switch is the Tegra X1 NVIDIA chipset, and that chipset is prone to very extreme heat. It's not really heat efficient, and I know that chipset can really heat up, and since it can really heat up, it can cause the temperatures to really get super hot to where it's actually expanding the plastic around the Nintendo Switch, and then it's actually causing these hairline cracks. So yes, I can 100% believe that this is caused just by the Nintendo Switch. It kind of also sucks that Nintendo didn't wait a couple of years or wait to manufacture the Nintendo Switch after the NVIDIA Tegra X1 was already kind of out of date, and they would have used the current chipset or one after the Tegra X1 chipset, because I think if Nintendo would have waited, there's much more efficient chipsets already on the market right now that do a much better job of producing heat. They don't produce as much heat. And also, if they were to use a different chipset on the Nintendo Switch, it would also mean that we would have got better stamina on the Nintendo Switch, so better battery life for everybody. I don't think anybody can disagree with better battery life, so that would have been nice if they would have waited a little bit to manufacture the Nintendo Switches. What I hope Nintendo does, I hope in the near future, when they make whatever they're going to make the new Nintendo Switch, if they're just going to make a redesign, or if they're going to make the Switch Mini, or whatever the case is going to be with the next Nintendo Switch, because let's all be honest here, we all know Nintendo is going to make another Nintendo Switch, whether it be just an updated version of this one, or whether it be a totally new one, a Switch Mini, or whatever the case may be. Let's hope that they use a different chipset, or the next chipset, so we'll get much more better battery life, we'll get better heat consumption, and we'll also get better performance when it comes to game. Right now, the chipset is pretty much okay when it comes to performance. I'm okay with the chipset. I pretty much like all my experiences on the Nintendo Switch. I'm having really fun with it, but I do agree this chipset is not really good when it comes to heat production, and it does kind of suck. Some people are actually getting hairline cracks when they're actually playing this, and a lot of people have said they've actually gotten these hairline cracks on the Nintendo Switch just by playing it in handheld mode alone. It wasn't in the dock, because I know when you play the Nintendo Switch in the dock for long periods of time, it can really build up heat, and that can really cause the bending of the Nintendo Switch, and it can cause the hairline cracks. But for people to say that their Nintendo Switch is actually getting hairline cracks from them just playing in handheld mode actually kind of boggles my mind. Do I still believe it? Yes, I still believe that just playing in handheld mode could actually cause these hairline cracks, because let's face it, again, like I said, this Tegra X1 NVIDIA chipset is actually not really heat efficient, and that's really causing all this, even in handheld mode. I really do believe it. Is Nintendo actually going to go ahead and do a massive recall on all these Switches and actually call it a really bad deal? No, I don't think Nintendo is going to call this a really big deal. If you look at the bending Switches, the bending Switches came out, I think, sometime last year, and as you can see, Nintendo didn't do a massive recall on Nintendo Switches for the Switch is bending, and I don't think they're going to do a massive recall on this whole hairline cracking thing, or Nintendo Switch is cracking, unfortunately. So I don't think it's everybody. I know there's like 18, 19 million Nintendo Switches out in the wild right now, and I don't think it's even half the people who own a Nintendo Switch. I know that's a really big, bold statement to say it's not even half of the Nintendo Switch owners, but I honestly don't think it's half of the Nintendo Switch owners. I think it's a hit or miss, and I think it really depends on how long you play your system, what environment you play your system, just a whole number of factors really factor into if you're going to get these hairline cracks. Just to say that you're just going to play this strictly all day and you're going to get these hairline cracks, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Did I actually end up seeing these hairline cracks? No. Unfortunately, I checked my unit, I think yesterday or the day before when this whole thing started to happen, and I didn't really see any hairline cracks on my Nintendo Switch, so that's really good on me, and I think it's just a hit or miss when it comes to the Nintendo Switch getting these hairline cracks. Anyway, this is Wayne from My Tech News, signing out.